Good evening, and I want to continue content creation for the UMA system and continue working on this sash here, which turned out quite interesting to work with the Bezier tool, which I didn't use before. So yeah, like I said, quite interesting. Next thing I need to figure out is some way to make knots with that. I removed a bit of an beginning of a knot because it looked horrible, so yeah, let's jump into it and try to get a bit more done here. Okay, with those we are thing is, try to get it so that it's not overlapping too much, but I'm not sure what the end result will look like, so that's kind of the thing that I need to figure out at some point. But let's just get to a point where I can say, okay, the shape looks okay, so now I can do something else with it. How did I get started with Blender? Hi, to start with. How are you? And I watched a tutorial. Not sure where. I think it was Blender Cookie or stuff like that. And then I experimented around with it a bit. Just imported model and started twisting that around and worked my way through that. I think there's an episode of a stream earlier that it's called Learning Blender. Could be on my YouTube. Where I just started out the first time opening it up and trying to figure it out. But I think I watched the tutorial before that. So, because I remember the first time I opened it up, I didn't know what to do and didn't know how to select anything, move anything around, and was completely lost. It happens to me sometimes still because I'm getting lost anyway, but when I started out it was even worse. So Yeah, that's a problem I know too well. Yeah. Um, yeah, I just started doing my own stuff at some point, and kind of works for me, but in some areas I noticed that yeah, if a professional had done that would look better. But for most of my stuff it's okay. The biggest thing I need to figure out at some point is doing textures, because at the moment I'm just creating blank models, and once I get to the phase where everything needs to get a texture, that would be interesting, because textures and I not the best companions. So I need to figure that out at some point. But it's definitely better, even if you're not hiring, if you're not doing the stuff yourself, to know a bit about creating 3D stuff. Just to, it's easier to talk to artists, and if they come to you with problems they have, it's easier to talk about those if you have a bit of experience in the area. And if the stuff you're creating is good, you can even think about maybe getting a bit of money in for the rest of the game. Something I'm thinking about once I figured out how to solve my texture problem. So, few different ideas. One thing that I really still need to learn is the overuse of shortcuts in Blender.